I've been playing the one you did, so
Oh,
you
yeah.
played pretty much what you did.
We're not ready. Keep talking. Good morning. Good morning. Oh my goodness, it is on. It's been a very full morning getting us to this moment that we begin together again. So thank you for your patience. Thank you not only for your patience, but I had to close the doors so we could hear each other in my office for all of the joyful sounds coming from the lobby. And that's how you want to start a Sunday morning. Can I get an amen? Amen. Amen. Thank you for bringing the joy. Thank you for making your way. Thank you for being all that you are in this time of confusion and challenge and difficulty, and in some places and in some moments, the violence, the common violence of our age. Thank you for being counter to all of that. Thank you for being reminded always of the values that we share and hold up and see in each other every Sunday and the days in between. Welcome to All Souls, where all souls are welcome. You are joyfully, this is what we say every week, right? You are joyfully called to worship. I invite you to rise in body and or in spirit, and we will join our voices in singing the opening hymn appropriate for this service, Come Sing a Song with Me. We begin each week by passing the peace that we hold in our hearts that needs to be shared among us and with the wider world. We begin by greeting those in the online pews. Hello, good souls out there. There are 27 households in the online pews this morning. We welcome you all. And if you are here this morning for the first time and feel comfortable doing so, I invite you to raise your hand so that we may welcome you properly. This is not the first time, but we do welcome our guests, Shanika and Angie. Welcome, I see you behind. Welcome, good to see you. So nice to see a couple folks who we haven't seen in a long time. Welcome back. And COVID is really on the rise once again. I'm sure you all know somebody or you're just getting over it yourself. So we're going to go back to bumping elbows at this moment and just, imagine the hugging that will come in weeks, in a couple of weeks. Peace be with you all. Let us make a joyful noise. Peace be with you. I've already hugged.
As we do each week at the beginning of our service, we acknowledge the Nahantic, Mohegan, Mashantucket, Pequot, and Eastern Pequot people as the traditional caretakers of the land on which we worship. We honor and pay respect to these tribes, their ancestors and their lineage who today uphold traditional practices, art, and education.
Karen will now light the chalice, the symbol of our faith, as we read the words presented on the screen. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. There we fall into the place where everything is music. I'll meet you there.
And each week we light the peace candle and are reminded of a place that is in need of our prayers and care and love. You may remember that today's Good Neighbor offering will benefit the Haitian Hub. And so this morning we light this peace candle in honor of Haiti. Haiti that has suffered through 3 years of violence, economic ruin, and as a result, mass migration. 578,000 Haitians have been displaced by the violence this year alone, just since January. And so we hold that country in our hearts that is struggling so mightily and is so in need of our attention, care, and care for the immigrants who have moved to this area, who we will be supporting through your generosity today. May there be peace in Haiti. Amen. Amen. We're beginning a song. Is it window button? No, this is first. I should turn off my body mic, right? Adam? Yeah. Bill, how about a little music in this in between time? by Wendell Berry from excerpts from his writings. Keep in mind that this was written in 1988. When a community loses its memory, its members no longer know one another. How can they know one another if they have forgotten or have never learned one another's stories? If they do not know one another's stories, how can they know whether or not to trust one another? People who do not trust one another do not help each other, and moreover, they fear one another. And this is our predicament now. Because of a general distrust and suspicion, we not only lose one another's help and companionship, but we are all now living in jeopardy of being sued. We don't trust our public servants because we know that they don't respect us. They don't respect us as we understand because they don't know us. They don't know our stories. So ends the reading.
So I think we all want to be known and understood. We hope that our leaders understand our hard work, our struggles, our fears, and we hope that they cherish some of the same things that we do. We want them to share their own stories and hope that they're close enough to our own so we can understand and trust them to take the reins. But that's a story I'm telling myself, and Wendell Berry too. I have not spoken with all of you to know that you want your stories known, right? Stories are tricky things. Wendell Berry writes about hardworking farmers sitting on porches of a summer's evening talking about squash beetles and the fish that got away. Some of us here may have recently had conversations about hydrangeas, or repairing a windowsill, or maybe how crazy but sweet our dogs, or kids, or neighbors are. But here's where the storytelling can go awry. Often we find ourselves befuddled by the space between huge feelings and events that don't seem to merit quite those big feelings, right? So we weave stories between those two things to try to make it make sense to us. A lot of times those stories have some bit of fact in them, or a lot of fact, actually. But not all. And sometimes the stories we create can be even nasty. I think this is where singing and communal singing comes in. Songwriters weave words and melodies together to create something that holds the truth of our experience without trying to be the gospel truth. Because they know, as Rumi does, that life is beyond what we can put into words. When we sing together, we really are on the same frequency, resonating together. So even when we are singing about loneliness or betrayal, even death and war, we're somehow connected and comforted. The song Tenting Tonight was written by Walter Kitteridge in 1863 and debuted in Lynn, Massachusetts. Within 6 months of its debut, 10,000 copies of the sheet music had been sold, and the song was a favorite of both Union and Confederate soldiers. It was a very popular song. It held a truth of the experience, no matter who you were. Beyond brutal division. In teaching about the overcoming of suffering, Thich Nhat Hanh encourages us to come back to our bodies, to breathe and to be in the moment, to feel the feelings and do nothing with it, to just be with it. Sounds simple, right? But if meditation isn't for you, singing might be. Danny and I created a list of songs that we might include in today's service, and it was such a long list. There are so many songs, nearly as many as experiences to sing about. So we've just woven a few that we thought might be interesting, and some that we could sing together. And I'm hoping to share a couple of joyful bits with you that might be new, but you'll be able to take away. And this is one. Adam, next slide. So this is by Matt Meyer. He's been with us before, and he, I think, has sung this song to us before. And I'm going to sing a line, and I'm going to ask you to sing it back. And once we've sung all the lines back and forth, then we'll sing it through a couple of times. It's pretty simple. We are going, we are going to a place where music, to a place where music falls and fills up everything, falls and fills up everything. And though it might be a long way, and though it might be a long way, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. 'Cause we've already started to sing. 'Cause we've already started to sing, and we go, we are going to a place where music falls and fills up everything. And though it might be a long way, it's gonna be all right. 'Cause we've already started to sing. Thank you.
retune the banjo. The banjo is a very old instrument and kind of a new instrument too. And I thought I'd tell a little story about the banjo through this song, "Oh Susanna." So I thought we might sing it together a little bit, and then I'll talk a little bit about it, and then we'll sing it again. Kind of about the stories we tell or tell ourselves. Oh, I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee, and I'm going to Louisiana, oh, my true love for to see. It rained all night the day I left, the weather it was dry, the sun so hot I froze to death. Susanna, don't you cry. Oh Susanna, oh, don't you cry for me, for I come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee. Oh Susanna, oh, don't you cry for me, for I come from Alabama with the banjo on my knee. So this song was one of the biggest pop hits of the 1840s. It was written by a young man named Stephen Foster in 1847 and went on to become one of the most popular American songs of all time. It's a beautiful song that most everyone has heard, and there's a lot to unpack about it. It was written during the minstrel era, when pop music of the day was white men dressed in blackface, singing songs that caricatured black people, often while playing the banjo. It's hard to conceive of, like the pop music you hear on 107.7. That was what it was back in that day. The original lyrics to the song were racist, written in caricatured dialect, and the lyrics have been cleaned up and deracialized over the years, and with it, the song's history has been obscured, much like our nation's history has been cleaned up and obscured. There's another hidden narrative too, which I wanted to share, as pointed out in this book by Laurent Dubois about the banjo. He's a scholar of the Middle Passage, the voyage of enslaved Africans from West Africa to North America, and the Atlantic slave trade. And he brings this knowledge to his exploration of the history of the banjo. I highly recommend the book if you're interested in banjos. I'm going to read a passage from the book. There's something odd about the song, "Oh Susanna." The black narrator's freewheeling and comic journey in search of Susanna from Alabama to Louisiana would in fact have been impossible in the late 1840s, and audiences would have known that. At the time, however, the one very obvious way that black men were traveling toward Louisiana was in slave coffles, or else traveling with white masters who were heading to the state to try and make their fortunes in the sugar economy. End quote. By this time, the slave trade in the U.S. had been abolished, slave trade from outside the U.S., but it was still legal within the United States. It had been abolished for decades, but new territories needed a supply of enslaved people. And to supply the new territories with slaves, enslaved people were bred and sold from plantations in Virginia, Carolinas, other eastern states. often marching many miles in chains and shackles. People were sold down the river to plantations in the Deep South. And the Louisiana sugar plantations were known to be among the harshest places to be sent. To be sold or moved to Louisiana was to be sent away, separated from family and community, to never return, to perish in what were known as the hardest and harshest working conditions on the Louisiana sugar plantations. To go to Louisiana was to leave and never return. It's a very different story than the O Susanna we know today. It's likely Foster's song was derived from older songs. There's actually a song mentioned in his book from the 30s where it actually is very similar to O Susanna and tells that story in a comic, caricatured way, of course. But I thought, with that background, we would sing the rest of O Susanna and reflect on the story that's going on behind the story, as it were. We'll start with the second verse. Oh, I had a dream the other night when everything was still. I thought I saw Susanna coming down the hill. The buckwheat cake was in her mouth, a tear was in her eye. Says, I am coming from the south, Susanna, don't you cry. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me, for I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. I soon will be in New Orleans, and then I'll look around. And when I find Susanna, I'll fall upon the ground. And if I do not find her, I will surely die. And when I'm dead and buried, Susanna, don't you cry. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me, for I come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me, for I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. And thank you, Karen. Isn't it incredible how a song can change so much in your heart when you hear the backstory? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Thank you both. Thank you both. We have come to the element in our liturgy in which we open our hearts in a spirit of generosity. We have two guests here with us today, the two co-founders of the Haitian Hub. They're going to tell you a little bit about the Haitian Hub, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about both of these remarkable young women. Shanika and Angie, come on up. Come on up. Come on up. Shanika was in this building for the first time in, what year was that? 2015, that's what I thought. In 2015, in the wake of Michael Brown's death at the hands of a police officer in Missouri, I'm sure you all remember. Shanika was very involved with Hearing Youth Voices at the time and throughout your teenage years, in fact. And she and another young woman who was involved with Hearing Youth Voices and I and Manji Dawadi, the four of us, co-led and organized the march that happened here in New London that some of you were at. So Shanika has been a righteous voice for justice all of her entire life, as has Angie. Angie is one of the paralegals at the Immigration Advocacy and Support Center. Many of you know that I serve as the board president of that organization. And she brings with her a connection to the Haitian community. And as you might imagine, the number of Haitian immigrants in this area, and especially in Norwich, has really grown. And so Angie brings with her to our small organization a very important bridge to a community that really is in need of that kind of support. And so they're going to tell you a little bit about the Haitian Hub that launched formally this past February and is going strong already. So welcome to our pulpit and to All Souls, the two of you. Come on up. Oh, wait, and this is really important. The Haitian Hub is housed right across the way, right across the parking lot. And these two are members of that Seventh-day Adventist congregation. So that's really important for you to connect all of these dots, right? There are many dots. So there you go. There you go. Welcome, neighbors.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. With all these joyful singing, you know, it was a little quiet. As Ms. Caroline said, I'm Shanaika, and I'm having a little moment of taking it all in as we're talking about storytelling. I shared my story for the first time after moving from Haiti, when the first incident that happened of why a lot of us were being displaced was because of the earthquake in 2010. And the first time I shared my story and felt comfortable sharing my story, I always have this saying of telling people, is my story safe with you? Before I could share it, is my story safe with you? And before we could tell someone else's story, is my story safe with you? And I stood in this very first time, this stage, in this All Souls building to share my story in the presentation we're doing with Hearing Voices. This across the parking lot in this building means a lot to me. And when I first started doing my justice work was with Hearing Voices, who started working for the first time in the office across the building, across the parking lot at the Seventh-day Adventist Church before it was sold. And then a year later, as we were getting ready to move out of that space, the Seventh-day Adventist Church has purchased that building. So my church was talking about this building they just found, and it was great. They were excited, and it was in New London. And I never made the connection until the first Saturday I showed up to church, and it was the office where I used to work for the first time, right? So all of that to say is connecting the dots, and stories are important. And now, what another first is the Haitian Hub was also founded in that building, because as a Haitian immigrant, when our family moved here, for a long time as I was doing this justice work, I thought about what are the ways that I'm giving back to my community? And what are the ways that after I went back from college, I went to college and came back and saw a huge need of the Haitian community being displaced. And a lot of times we focus on work that's happening in Haiti, right, directly. What happened to the individuals who move here? What are we doing for them as a community, as the neighbors, to really show up for them and provide the services? So the Haitian Hub was founded in that sense of, in 2023, 2 summers ago, when we, as a group of young professionals, came together, myself and Angie with other groups of individuals, and we really first opened to provide one service to the community of what was needed in that moment to show up for them. And I'll let Angie speak a little bit more about that, except that when we opened our doors for 3 hours on a Sunday from 3 to 6, the individuals who started coming to the parking lot to receive service was way beyond the one service we're providing. So after that, we really had a conversation with the city and figured out that there was a gap in our community. As much as we really try to show up for our community, that was a huge gap that a lot of us weren't paying attention to. And it was, all of these individuals are being displaced, but what does that mean when they get here, and who's providing service for them? Who speaks their language? Who understands their culture? Who is able to communicate with them in a way that is individuals are able to understand and that they're able to feel cared for and not like a charity case. And in that moment, that's how we started providing certain services for the Haitian Hub, which I'll let Angie speak a little bit more about.
Hi, everyone. Angie. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much, Pastor Caroline. Like Shanika said, the Haitian Hub was founded to address the needs of the Haitian community, because there's a lot of people here that need those services, and we oftentimes focus on servicing Haiti, but sometimes we overlook the people that are here, starting over in a country to a language that they not know, to a system that they not know, different culture. There's a lot of life changes coming from a place where there's political instability, and just the voyage to get here, the trauma and all the things that they've experienced. So some of the services that we provide because of the ask, right, included resume building, because when people come here, the first thing they need to be able to sustain themselves, and getting a job is crucial. So coming here and trying to translate their skills and the things that they've done back home, and trying to explain that to a way where they can secure a job. We do that. We help them with cover letters, and we help with just doing mock interviews, trying to get them familiarized with the way the system works. We help with financial education, home ownership. We partner with Homestead. We take those people to the appointment. We go along with them to help with the translation, to help them understand the process of what needs to be done. We also provide help with just vocational training, trying to help people, like point people in the right direction. We started to not only provide services, but to also connect people to the services that's already provided in the community to other organizations. So being able to pinpoint where to go, and also being able to accompany those individuals to these appointments where they feel comfortable with us to tell us their story, and that we could share it and get them the help that they need. Because if we look around, there's a lot of different organizations playing different pieces of the puzzle, especially here in New London. And what we try to do is to connect our people, the Haitian people from the community, the Haitian community especially, to those services, so that they can get the help that they need, and that they can have some type of stability. And that's really all it's about. It's giving these individuals some type of stability after going through all of that trauma and having to leave their home countries and start over. So that's what we do here at the Haitian Hub. And with the help of New London, and hopefully with your help, we'll be able to continue that work and continue to help all these individuals. Yeah. Thank you.
Stay for now for a second. Let's say these words together as we do each week. We give to the Haitian Hub to be good neighbors, support work that creates the greater good. With this offering, we remember to extend our reach beyond these walls. The offering will be gratefully received. Thank you. Canned soups for food to the people. You can bring that up now. all that you have shared and all that you have sacrificed. Thank you. At a service that is focusing on sharing our stories, we are reminded on Sunday morning of each other's stories when we share our joy and sorrow, all that we have experienced. It reminds us to bear witness to each other's lives and, yes, to each other's stories. So we will begin by inviting all of you here in Unity Hall, as you are moved, to come forward and light a candle of intention, which will give time to those of you in the online pews to indicate in the chat what you might like to have shared. Carol will tell you more about that as the greeter, as the online greeter. And so we open this time and this space for the creation and the sustenance of beloved community. So we begin the sharing first of a note of appreciation from Lynn Tavermina, who expresses her gratitude for all of the postcard writers that we have in this congregation. In the last 2 months, the postcard writers have written 5,300 blue wave postcards to get out the vote in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. There are also folks writing letters through Vote Forward and through postcards to swing states, that's actually an organization, and other groups. So many thanks to all, says Lynn, and I think, Lynn, that we join you in that Thanksgiving. Thanks to all. Here is the book. And from the book, There Is Not a Thing. And so let us look to the online pews and see what may have been shared there. From Peter Cooper, who offers blessings to Bill for sharing your music and presence. Bill, thank you to Bill. And I want to hold up the fact that the beautiful flowers on the extreme right, my right, were given by Susan and Janet Beebe on the occasion of their 6th wedding anniversary. And so, happy anniversary to the two of you. That was a very, very happy, happy day. And so let us enter into a spirit of prayer and meditation, holding in our hearts all that has been shared, holding in our hearts all that we hold in the sanctuary of our hearts. Let us begin. Blessed Spirit of life and of love, in all of the ways that Spirit is known and named and intuited. We gather on this summer day under cloudy skies, bringing the light and the joy and the hope for these complicated days. We hold in our hearts all of the suffering among those here present, those in the online pews, the suffering in our communities, in our country, and indeed in the world. And we balance that with the joy that is generated as we share our stories, as we join our voices in song, as we remind ourselves and each other of our deepest values. We give thanks for this day, for all that it may bring. We give thanks, and together we say, Amen. Amen. Invite Karen back up to the pulpit, who will lead us in our closing hymn. What? Oh, you're just responding to the song. Yeah.
It's different. So, for today's closing hymn, I'm going to invite you to stay seated. Maybe you'll imagine that you're around a campfire or on a long road trip. Right. Singing can help on those long road trips. This is a little bit of sweetness to leave you with. Hopefully no feedback, just sweetness. So this is a song by Greg Brown, and I was going to just print the lyrics out to help me remember, and I found out that, I don't know, 20 people have recorded this song. They all have written verses. I'm going to sing 2 of them today, but I'm going to start with the chorus, and every time that chorus comes around, I'd like you to join me. It's a pretty easy song to catch on to. It's in 3, not 4. The whole kitten caboodle is in this. I said I would start with the chorus. Sorry. You focus. Singing Rudy toot toot for the moon. It's the biggest star I've ever seen. It's a pearl of wisdom, a slice of green cheese, and it's burning just like kerosene. Burning just like kerosene. The whole kitten caboodle is in disrepair. There's no place to go that's not here. Little captains and cuckoos from here to Timbuktu, well, they're counting their dough in the mirror. Counting their dough in the mirror. Singing Rudy toot toot for the moon. It's the biggest star I've ever seen. It's a pearl of wisdom, a slice of green cheese, and it's burning just like kerosene. Burning just like kerosene. So God bless motorcycles and far out heavy trifles. You know you can't memorize Zen. Hang your hat on your nose, don't hide in your clothes. Smile at someone, begin to begin. Singing Rudy toot toot for the moon. It's the biggest star I've ever seen. It's a pearl of wisdom, a slice of green cheese, and it's burning just like kerosene. It's burning just like kerosene. One more time. Singing Rudy toot toot for the moon. It's the biggest star I've ever seen. It's a pearl of wisdom, a slice of green cheese, and it's burning just like kerosene. Burning just like kerosene.
Karen will extinguish the chalice while we speak these words as we do each week. Our worship has ended, but our service is not yet done. May our spirits be renewed and our purpose resolved as we meet the challenges of the week. Our chalice flame is extinguished until once again ignited by the strength of our communion. Usually we are standing for the benediction, and so I'm going to ask you to rise in body and or in spirit and to reach out to the wider world, to open your hearts to all that it has to offer to us, and reminded of all that we have to offer to it. Yes, in that field between us are the stories that we share, are the songs that we sing together, all of them creating bolder, stronger, peaceful communities. And so go in peace, sharing your stories and listening for others, and return again with great joy. Amen. Amen. I invite you to be seated for the postlude. Danny.
This is a song by Molly Drake, no relation to Mary Drake in the back there, but the mother of Nick Drake, who you may have heard. We tramped the open moorland in the rainy April weather, and came upon a little inn that we had found together. The landlord gave us toast and tea, and stopped to share a joke. And I remember firelight, I remember firelight, I remember firelight, and you remember smoke. We ran about the meadow grass with all the harebells bending and shaking in the summer breeze. Oh, wind and summer never ending. We wandered to the little stream among the river flats, and I remember willow trees. I remember willow trees. I remember willow trees. And you remember gnats. We strolled the Spanish marketplace at 90 in the shade, with all the fruit and vegetables so temptingly arrayed. And we can share a memory as every... Let me do that again. And we can share a memory as every lover must. And I remember oranges. I remember oranges. I remember oranges. And you remember dust. The autumn leaves are tumbling down, and winter's almost here. But through the spring and summertime, we laughed away the year. And now we can be grateful for the gift of memory. For I remember having fun, two happy hearts that beat as one. But I had thought that we were we, but we were you and me.
Thank you again, Danny and Karen. What a lovely morning. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Couple of announcements. If you are new today or newish, you want to learn more about All Souls, the welcome table is near Adam. He is waving and pointing to it. There it is. You can head over there and a friendly soul will greet you. But today is also Meet the Minister, meet me. And so you can just grab a cup of coffee if you're newish and want to learn more. You can wander, if you can wander over to the welcome table, you can wander over here and have a more robust conversation. Poetry Circle is happening in the Vail Library today. Charlie is here. You can grab a cup of coffee and head down there. If you have a poem with you, that's great. If you don't, there are those that can be shared, right, Charlie? Good. The Elder Journey date has been moved. It's usually the 4th Thursday of the month. This month it is the 5th, so it's not this Thursday, it is the following. At noon, bring a lunch. Dessert will be provided, and that is for people who are 65 years of age and beyond. Next week, Reverend Katrina will be leading worship and preaching, and I think that is everything. Thanks for being here. Yes, Mary?
The writers will be meeting Wednesday here at 3:40.
Okay, the writer, the post, yes.
Postcards, letters, we have stamps to put on envelopes, we have anything, just come.
That's what Lynn Tavermita had expressed gratitude for earlier. So 3:30 on Wednesday. Thanks all for being here.